Okay, so we were required to calculate earnings growth rate. So understand, when they ask you like this, it could be basically that you could be asked to calculate like ROE into retention, sustainable growth rate. You could be asked about this ROE into retention rate. This could be one thing. Okay, I don't know. I've not like seen the case study. I just copied the case study and like I just saw it was not in the recording, so I thought, okay, let me do it. Or second one could be like you could be given the earnings of the next year, earnings of the current year, and then you have to do E1 minus E0 upon E0. One of this thing could be tested. So let's see what was being tested. So uh, you have been given net income. So if you are given net income of the next year, so this is for the 2013. So if we could get the net income of the next year, then we can calculate earnings growth rate. So that could be one way to look at it. Okay, so dividend, interest, tax, depreciation, capital spending, capex is given. Total assets are given. Book value and market value of the assets are same, which is generally not the case, but in this case it is the case. Debt and equity, book value, market value is same. Target debt to asset ratio is given. That is WD. So basically, this is your WD. Debt to asset ratio is WD. 40% or 0.4. That means WE 0.6. All right, shares outstanding is 2 million. That's fine. Okay. And so the working capital needs are negligible. That means WCI is not there. Working capital investment is 0. And they plan to operate with current capital structure. So that means this debt WD40 and WE60 will be there in the next year also. The tire industry is highly dependent on the demand for new automobiles. Individual, obviously, because tire कोई ऐसे ही नहीं खरीदेगा कि let me go to shop and buy a tire. You will buy a tire only when you have a car or a bike, whatever. Individual company in the industry don't have much influence on the design of the automobiles. So whatever automobiles ka design is being selected by the let's say Tata Motors or Hyundai or Honda, they have to make the tires according to them. The demand for new automobiles is highly cyclical. So from that perspective, demand for the tires will also be highly cyclical, and but the demand forecast tend to be slower. So the forecast errors are tend to be lower. So that is a good thing. But इसमें हमारा जो था Niche, there is nothing about it. So what we, I mean, how can we like approach this question is if we can get a ROE, return on equity, and इससे मुझे लग रहा है कि payout ratio मिल जाएगा. So then we will be able to like get. So I think ROE into retention rate से हो जाएगा. So retention rate तो clear था. So retention rate is like the dividend upon the net earnings, that is 120 upon 60. So 120 divided by 16 is, sorry, 600. So that is a dividend of 0.2, payout ratio of 0.2. So retention ratio is 0.80. Okay, and coming to ROE, return on equity. Return on equity is nothing but net income upon equity. And now logically, see, if I have to look at ROE 1, return on equity in year 1, I should look at net income of year 1 divided by equity of last year. तो यहाँ पे beginning book value of equity देना जरूरी था. If I have to calculate ROE, then I'll take this net income 600 million. And then by the way, we need to divide by book value of equity of last year. तो यहाँ पे book value market value same है, but we need book value of equity, but that too of last year. तो यहाँ पे उन्होंने clarify नहीं किया is it book value of equity of last year, but I guess we do not have a choice in the exam. If such kind of thing comes, the question gets discarded or question is given marks to everyone. But it should have been given as book value of equity in the last year, so it is 6 billion, which is nothing but 6,000 million. So million out, 600 upon 6,000, ROE is 10%. Return on equity is 10%. 600 upon 6,000, that's return on equity is 10%. So go over here, I'll put that return on equity 10%. So 10% into 0.8, the growth rate can be calculated as 8%. So there you got it via same logic. I saw you marking B as the answer. So you got it via same logic or some other
Yes,
logic?
sir. Got by the same logic.
Okay, Vedant, is it
Got it,
clear?
sir. Sir, I thought FCF यूज करना नेट इनकम प्लस एनसीसी है ना.
नहीं वो तब लगेगा. सी अंडरस्टैंड उससे मतलब अगर फ्यूचर का नेट इनकम सी ये हमें पता था. दिस वी न्यू इट. सो इफ दिस वाज गिवन इन सम वे देन वी कुड हैव लाइक कैलकुलेटेड इट. सो टेक्निकली see if I assume, okay, let me do it this way. If I assume ki this is the last year book value and then this is the net income and this is the dividend, then we can calculate ki what could be the future earnings. I mean what could be the future book value आएगा ना, उससे अर्निंग तो नहीं आएगा. नेक्स्ट ईयर का प्रॉफिट क्या होगा, we do not have a direct information on this, so we can't do it by this. ये वाले मेथड से will not be able to, sorry, by this method you will not be able to get the growth rate. So ROE into retention rate, ROE is basically the earnings divided by the book value of equity. And the retention rate is this dividend and earnings will get the retention rate. Clear, right, Vedan?
Yes, I got it.
Okay, perfect.